If you're below Faceit level 10, this is the perfect video for you. We're going to watch VODs from players in every rank in Faceit and give direct tips that help you rank up in CS2 fast. If you're not sure you can trust me, I'm Louis, a 3000 ELO player on Faceit, and I play internationally with Team USA at LAN events around the world. I've included timestamps in the description below, so you can either skip ahead to your rank or you can watch the whole video to get all the information in this video. So the first mistake we're going to see down in Faceit levels 1 through 3 is how these players are buying. Now the first thing that someone buys is this player right here, and he has a molly and a smoke. This buy isn't too much of anything to cry about. You know, if he is playing towards ramp, I really don't see that as a huge issue. But once we get farther down into freeze time, we're going to see what these guys are actually buying and how late they are out of spawn, not understanding that most of the time, especially in pugs, a lot of T's are literally going to hold W to get the pistol round over with. So if I pause right here, you're going to see that he is still AFK in spawn, literally just buying dualies. So he's going to have $500 left over, and he's not going to choose to buy anything else, which is the first huge mistake, because this player here, Climax, he's going to decide to run all the way back to spawn and buy a kit. Now Lamba right here could have just bought the kit instead of having his teammate run all the way back into CT spawn and totally gapping the A site. And since they are laid out of spawn trying to choose what to buy, these guys are literally just going to run out A, which is really cool to see that they are capitalizing the gap that was left. And then Climax is going to literally just jump straight down the ladder, taking so much damage. Like, what is this? He's not even going to try to aim at these guys and then just lose a bunch of health. So now the score is 2-0 and we are on round 3. Now they're going to do a heavy outside play. But one thing we're going to see in this play is Climax has no idea how to actually counter strafe. Now I would figure that people down in this rank would be able to understand what counter strafing is, but you're going to see he's literally just running and not even trying to stop and shoot. Now some players in this rank do understand counter strafing, like this guy right here, Tap Machine 23. Honestly, if you are solo queuing around the 1 to 3 level mark on Faceit, I can definitely see why you might be getting really tilted and saying that your teammates aren't helping you rank up at all. So another huge mistake that I'm seeing the CTs do as well is they don't have any round starts. Now what I mean by round starts is that they're not throwing any utility at all towards outside or towards inner. As you can see, it's literally just so stationary. Now keep in mind their buy is a little bad, so you're going to see that they have really low nades. Like this guy up here towards heaven, if I restart the round, you're going to see that he's not going to be throwing any nades at all when he's going out towards upper, because most of the time you want to try to block door, you want to smoke door if they, you know, decide to blow it, or maybe if you know that they aren't even trying to go outdoor, you're trying to molly hut. But he's literally just sitting here holding towards door, literally doing nothing. Now the ramp player does do a good job at using utility, so I would expect this guy to have some sort of knowledge, and you can see he actually plays ramp fairly well besides just peeking out into different angles. But you guys definitely want to make sure that you are having good round starts, pretty much just like Soda is towards ramp, where he's always pre-mauling for the rush, then he's going to be using his smoke. Same thing goes for outside and inner as well, where you want to make sure that you're stopping the early pushes and pretty much stopping the first phase of the round and forcing the T's to make up a new phase 2 of the round by either taking map control with their own utility, which gives you a good read on what's happening on the map. So one mistake that I've noticed for a few rounds now while watching this that I want to bring up is that if you look at the CT's economy and the T's economy, there's a really huge difference here. Now the T's are winning some rounds, so they do have guns left over, which is why their economy looks like this. But if I go over to the CT, you're going to see that this guy right here decided to full buy. This guy decided to save. The guy up in heaven decided to save. This guy decided to save, and this guy decided to buy. So there's 2 people that bought and 3 players that saved, and they don't even have full round loss bonus. So pretty much if you are playing a high competitive game, you're going to have to save again just because some of your players decided to buy down. Now if I skip ahead to the next round and see what these guys are going to be buying in CT spawn, I'm gonna guess that it might be a little goofy. Good thing they did win the round, so they actually can buy. But if they did lose the round, their economy would have even been more messed up than what it was at the start. So you guys want to make sure that you are coordinating buys together and keeping track of your loss bonus so you guys know how much you can buy. Now I do want to highlight a good round that I do see the T's doing, and they actually do a really good lobby default, but they do not maximize the amount of pressure that they are causing. So one thing that the T's could be doing, especially in the early round, is by nading door and creating that pressure, because if you nade door at the start of the round, it's going to force the A players to block door and worry about hut. But if you guys leave door closed like this, the A players only have to worry about hut, and they don't even have to worry about any smokes towards door. Now this guy right here in mini, he's going to be in mini, and he's going to obviously should know that door isn't closed, and he's going to not even have to worry about it at all. Like if I'm this guy right here, I'm literally just going to look towards towards hut like he is right now, because this is the only thing he has to worry about with the pressure. Now, what I think is really cool about this, even without them breaking door, the T's are running a really good lobby default. You can see that there's two players right here in radio and trophy where they can trade off each other. This guy's holding for the hut push. Now, this guy is holding for anyone trying to open the door, which is very unlikely. But then you also have this guy holding the flank. This is actually a really good round that the T's are running. And this guy right here is going to hear the people in T spawn, and he's actually going to capitalize on this information. Then you're going to see that the T's are reacting towards ramp, knowing that they're getting flanked and they might have numbers outside. They actually take this space towards ramp, which is a really good round and amazing to see, especially in lower Faceit ranks where these guys are levels 1, 2, and 3. They actually understand on how to hold and run a default and take space. And since that this guy is also in lobby, they're going to go down lower, which is a okay reaction, a very basic reaction that you could do, but that is a really good round. And if you guys don't know how to default on nuke, that is a really good option, especially if you don't know the outside smoke. Next, we're moving on to Faceit rank 3 through 5, but first let me tell you about the Monkey. Skins Monkey is a CS2 skins trading site marketplace that provides an instant way to get new skins. My favorite thing about Skins Monkey is that I can trade skins that I no longer want and trade it for a skin that has equal value. If you use code LouisCS2, you get a $5 bonus on your first trade, and if you want to buy skins, you can get a 30% deposit bonus plus an extra 5% using my code. The link is down in the description. Thank you, Skins Monkey, for sponsoring this video. Now, one thing I noticed in the last demo that I want to bring up in the Faceit 3 through 5 ranks is that when CTs win pistol round, for some reason you guys aren't actually investing into the round. A lot of people are just buying MP9 and some armor and then just thinking that that is totally okay. You guys want to make sure that you are buying utility, or if you can, buy an M4, especially on Mirage, to go play towards window to get your eco frags. But most importantly, you guys want to make sure that you guys are buying utility so you guys can block that early round aggression, because as you can see here, there's only one molly in play on the B player. These guys don't have any mollies for ramp. They're literally just having MP9 and armor, and it actually allows this guy to get all the way up in this ramp position. So if anyone was to push like this guy, I would expect that this would be a pretty heavy battle, because he might not even think that anyone could be that close. Now, thankfully, this guy does capitalize on this palace player, but there's just nothing that can really be done besides taking aim duels, and it could actually give him a easy way to lose the round if the T's just decided to buy deagles and take a lot of aim duels. So this is the first round of the T's, and they're actually going to take mid control very well, but they fail to recognize what is actually happening. So there's two people going towards A, and they're actually going to be aggressive a little bit early because the T's have full mid. Now, when the T's have mid on Mirage and there's no CTs actually fighting it, it means that the CTs are going to be playing for the A site. Now, what these T's right here fail to do is that this guy, for some reason, decides to walk out ramp, but this guy isn't holding palace at all. He's going to decide to just walk out instead of holding, recognizing that there's been no pressure in mid. If his teammates would communicate and say, guys, we have mid, they didn't even pressure, this guy would just stop in palace and hold, you know, whatever angle he wanted to make sure he's holding for this aggression, especially when this guy out ramp decided to just make a random play and he doesn't see anything. That should tell this palace player with that information that, oh my gosh, this guy actually might be close to me. I need to wait and hold and see what happens in the round. Because if he actually would have waited, he would have been able to capitalize off this kill. This guy would have been able to probably keep walking under stairs, because we can see the opera right here. Then his teammates could have split through con. So if you guys really try to pay attention to what your teammates are doing on the map and the amount of pressure that might be countering them, you should be able to set yourself up for a lot of free kills, especially if you're an extremity player towards A or B. Now, there's two things in this round that I see the CTs keep making the mistake of, and even the T's, and that's that they aren't flashing over mid for the window player to actually peek. This window player has been late smoked window almost every single round, but you're gonna see that this T right here running out mid before his smokes, which is also a bad idea, isn't getting blinded by any flashes. Now, luckily, this CT and window does capitalize on this, but something that you guys need to make sure that you're doing at the start of the round if you are the A or con player is that whoever is not throwing the molly is flashing over this tower here. So then this player running out mid is blind, and then the window player can actually have a more fair of a duel. Now, something else that I'm noticing in this round as well is how stationary that these players are. They're literally not reacting to literally anything on the map, and they're just choosing to stay in their spots and not even move. If I noticed I was hearing a lot of shots out in mid, I would want to get info in the extremities. Now, this guy's playing on Balk right here, which tells me that, I mean, obviously he smoked it off, but he could get ready to get any sort of information. Same with this upper B guy as well. He smoked upper B a little bit early in the round, when instead he should have been trying to push for info once he saw that the T's were trying to take mid, and this would open up his team to really understand and dissect the round on what is happening. And even if the palace guy decided to push, or the upper B guy, they would get so much info on where the T's are, and they would also know that they were probably all out towards mid. Now, this con player does fall asleep, and this guy's going to rotate just a little bit. You can see they're not really moving at all and trying to capitalize off the information given. So if you guys really do watch demos and try to understand the gaps and how you can take them off certain pressure, I know you guys will be set up a lot more for so many more things like kills, outplaying your opponents, and sort of things like that. So now we're in Faceit level 5 through 7, and I am extremely disappointed because I thought people by now would understand the economy. But if I hold tab and seeing that everybody is out of spawn, we have someone with $500, someone with 800, someone with 300, someone with 400. Now this guy decides to buy dualies and a smoke. You know what? That's fine. Whatever. This guy has $400 left over. He could have dropped the dualies. Could have bought a smoke. Could have bought a P250. I'm just confused. This guy didn't even buy. So number one, make sure your economy is on point and you know what you're buying and make it make sense. But also entry pathing as well is make sure that you are creating space. If you are the first one in, you pretty much just are a bait. Now, yes, you can try to kill, but your main goal is to literally create as much space as possible. So then you can drag crosshairs like this guy on car. So he's trying to shoot you through the smoke. And then your players can fill from that position that you obviously took, and they can trade you or try to kill someone that is obviously trying to kill you. So one important thing I want to know on Dust 2 is that you guys want to make sure that you're using your spawns. They have 4 guys over here towards B. Now that doesn't mean you have to rush B, but it means that you can get to lower just about the same time as a CT, so you can get a good fair fight and take map control very consistently and at random if you are using your spawns. Now since Dust 2 has such a wide range of spawns on the T side, the CTs can really abuse almost any part of the map and get there before the T's can get there. Like for example, towards catwalk, towards lower, these guys decided to spawn all the way over towards long like Impulse Daddy did. But one thing that the T's fail in this round is to actually use their spawns. Now if they did have a plan, I think that is amazing, which they clearly did, but they were unaware of the gaps that could happen. So since they spawned all the way towards B and no one is spotting anyone pushing up towards mid, look how far this guy can run up mid by the time that this guy gets to palm tree where he can hold the actual push. The CTs can take so much space. So one thing they're not aware of is this possibility at all, knowing that they spawned all the way over here on this side of the map. You guys have to make sure that you're recognizing these gaps so you guys can abuse what is happening on the map. So I actually want to highlight this round for this NU Twist guy because he plays it very, very well and he's doing the things that I'm talking about. So he's going to flash for his teammates in long, even though he's scroll wielding for nades. We won't talk about that. But once his teammates have long, he knows another option for the T's to take map controls on cat, and he's going to block it. But if you notice, he's not going to play too aggressive because he knows that he's by himself right here on this ledge. Now once he spots these guys on cat, look what he does. He doesn't go to fight. He actually decides to block cat. He's going to nade, he's going to smoke, and then he's going to understand what the T's can do. He's like, yo, I just blocked him on cat. We know that they aren't out long, so they might possibly have to go mid or B. So he's going to rotate over to help his other mid player right here who just died, and he's going to start to play for mid. Knowing that they have long and that they are blocked on cat, he can actually play over in this position, and that is really, really smart by this player right here. And you can see he's even still playing towards mid. He spots this guy jumping up Xbox. Now this guy's fighting over towards cat, but you notice he doesn't over rotate either because his teammates still have control along and they have control of the bomb. So he's trying to find this mid guy so his teammate right here isn't getting caught out and just totally not even being able to be traded. And then he's going to rotate over. He's going to fight with his team. This guy does drop and die, but he does play the round really well. So that's just something to note, that when you guys are using your utility, use it with a purpose by blocking the phases of the round and try to read what the next phase might be. So this round, we're going to see the T's take long for the first time this game and actually try to take it with numbers. Now there's a few things that both sides do wrong, and we're going to go over them because this is something that is important on Dust 2. And you're going to see one flash, 2 flashes come over from the T's. Just 2 flashes come over. Now you obviously need to have a lot more flashes. Now the other thing right here as well is the timing on this guy's flashes. So if I rewind here to see what time he's throwing the flashes, he's throwing his flashes a little too early. You guys want to make sure that you're flashing long when 49 hits and a half second after. So about 149.5 is when you want to flash towards long. And he's also threw his first flash way too deep. So we can see this guy coming out long. He's probably not going to get blinded by the first flash. And right there, the first flash pops. He's not even out the door yet, so he's able to capitalize on this kill right here. But one thing that is also important is that if we also look at the CTs, we're going to see that they probably aren't dropping any flashes for his teammate. This guy has a flash. This guy has a flash. They're also buying HEs. Not the end of the world if you're taking long on CT, because you can always just throw a nade inside a long house. But if you drop this guy flashes, he's going to have so many more opportunities to keep flashing if they decide to go out long. We're going to see this guy throws his running molly. Now, great job by this guy because he's making that space, trying to drag the crosshair if the guy saw him. Now, his teammate is going to get fragged, but imagine if this guy right here in CT had more flashes. This guy that got across could get to pit and then start peeking off his teammates' flashes. That would be amazing, right? So there's already so many things going wrong in this one round. Now, the next thing that's important is that this guy doesn't keep taking his space. There's a molly down, which means chances are they probably can't run through this knowing the space. Some of them could tank it, that's fine, but this guy could cross the pit, drop a smoke top pit, and make the T's really search for this guy. But instead, he's going to swing out and try to frag everyone else in long doors right here. He's going to get one, but then he gets traded, and then this teammate is left on an island. Instead of just giving long in the 3v3 and trying to go take his cat space and trying to play retake from A towards cat, he could come cat and fight mid with his opera right here and just search out mid to see if anyone is there to solidify and know, yes, they're heavy long. They are all towards long. That makes the round so much more easier. Now, if he wanted to be a really good teammate, we know his teammate should have smoked and stayed alive for a little bit. Then he could have played off of him. But instead, he's going to swing out and try to trade and instead get peeked by two different guys. So you can see how important long control really is. But to dumb it down, what you really want to do is first guy gets to pit without even trying to trade. This guy needs to flash at the correct time, but also have extra flashes to support the teammate that got to pit if they do decide to run out long. It's perfectly fine if one player dies, but keeping the space is even more important if you do have numbers and support. And you can see it totally just went down to them not having enough flashes and this pit player not really understanding his role. So I want to highlight something good in this round that the CTs actually did, and it's this guy Prodigy right here. You can see that there was a full B execute that happened and the CTs decided to stop it, but he clearly got enough info from his teammates that they weren't out B, so he decides to take his A main space. Now, this is good. So first off, he has the position to blindside 3 enemies, but I think you guys can already see the mistake that is happening. He decides to pull out a nade to give where his position is. This is bad because if he just held his gun out and was able to kill these 2 guys running to temple, he could guarantee 5 alive in this round 100%. But instead, he decides to nade. Now, thank goodness these guys are Faceit level 7 through 9, so they don't have headphones yet, and the CTs have no idea that this guy just naded from A main. So I guess the first mistake is if you are Faceit level 7 through 9, make sure you guys have headphones. But number 2, don't give away your position when you take this kind of space, because it will help you secure the round than just trying to throw a nade and get a lot of free damage. So we're going to highlight Prodigy again, and what he does is something that makes 0 sense at all. And as you can see, he's going to insta smoke A main. Now, if we see where the T's are on the map right now, when this smoke goes down, that smoke is wasted because it's not maximized. Counter-Strike is all about maximizing what you're doing. And you can see that if he insta smokes A main, there's like 10 seconds wasted on the smoke, which means he has about 8 to 9 seconds left on the smoke than if he just waited. The T's probably don't even know A main is smoked yet because they're not even in A main. Now, it is good to insta smoke some parts of the map, like let's say insta smoke long doors because the T's get there first. You could always, insta smoke tunnels on dust too, because the timing of that, the T's can get to the entrance by pretty much the time that you're towards sight. But just understanding the timings can help you maximize your utility, like this round right here, where Prodigy could have actually blocked A main by the time he got up on tree and had a lot more time to buy for his team. As you can see, now the T's are all set up in A main. Luckily, he does capitalize and he does go and get his eco frags, but you guys want to make sure that you're maximizing the utility on every part of the map. So right now, I'm noticing in this elo is that people do understand round starts and they do understand on how to take space on part of the maps that aren't being pressured. Now, they do have this down, but something that I am noticing is that they don't understand timings. And a good example of that is the T's taking mid. So the CTs are going to nade dump because it obviously is the first buy round. And if the T's knew anything, they would know that they obviously know how to play anti-rush and they know round starts, because we saw over here towards B where they molly and smoke. But one thing that they don't understand is the anti-rush in mid. So these guys are going to run out through this smoke. Now, they get smoked off, and luckily the molly is bad, but they don't even have any account of the HEs as well. So now they're over here out towards elbow with their teammates swinging, and the CTs are throwing good flashes to blind the elbow players because they have good round starts that we even saw before. And since the Ts aren't reading the game or reading what the CTs are doing, they don't even think that they might play anti-rush towards mid. So you're going to see that they're flashing towards elbow. They're trying to deny elbow a lot, and they do get the free kill. So let's say, for example, that the Ts are waiting behind the elbow smoke. They hear the nade. That's when they call for the flash out mid. This guy is going to be running down, flashes in the air, it pops. This guy is full blind, and they get a free kill. So if they understood the pattern of what they were doing on B, what they were doing over here towards A, they would have a really good understanding of what was happening in mid, and they could have caught this guy right here off guard and got a nice free easy kill, and they could have taken the mid space for free. If this video helped you, make sure to check out this video on the one thing that will fix your aim overnight by clicking the video on screen now.